Man, I got some stupid timing with this. So apparently, I'm having a Disney Pixar morning. Blah 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 blah. So this is Silver Cord here, coming at you with some cards and coffee, giggling. That song's called "Into the Unknown." It's from Frozen, and this is "Can't Hear You" piece. It's from Finding Nemo, which I love that movie. I find one of the funniest parts is when the fish at the very end of the movie finally escape the dentist's office and they end up in the ocean, and they're all in their bags in the ocean, and they finally all the fish that led them to the ocean is like all proud of himself in his bag and looking around. The other fish in the background are like, all right, now what? We're in the ocean, but now we're stuck in plastic bags of water in the ocean. Um, I kind of feel like a lot of us are at that point on our spiritual paths. What? Oh, someone had a great idea to escape, and now we're like escape, but we're all stuck in another type of problem. Thanks, guys. I'm just playing. I'm having a goofy morning. All right, so it's Wednesday. Since the moon enters Capricorn, 7 o'clock tonight. Today's color is yellow. I'm really looking up. I don't even know why it says the first is Sagittarius. Sun entered Libra yesterday. Yep, and that's about it. Thrills and chills, huh? So, this week is the last week before Mercury shadow phase starts. Man, excuse me. Kills me. There's something that blooms. Right at the beginning of spring, right at the end of summer. Once the weather is 70 for more like 2 days, something down here blooms. Whatever it is does not grow north. Because I don't have this type of allergy problem anywhere else. Or have I ever? No. Love that movie though. Finding Nemo. I touched the bird. I don't know. I grew up on Disney. I don't know anybody who really didn't. We had all the VHS tapes when I was young. That was a big deal in the 80s and the 90s if you had kids, was to collect the Disney VHS tapes. When I was in elementary school, all our chorus concerts were singing the Disney songs. Now, a lot of people talk, a lot of smack about Disney, but in the end, I mean, they're using classical tales and they've turned them. I mean, Hans Christian Andersen did not write fluffy, duffy fairy tales. I mean, Hans Christian Andersen's tales, The Little Mermaid, at the end of the movie, the prince marries the other woman. She's not the sea witch. He just marries someone else that he was betrothed to when the freaking mermaid showed up. And when he did, her sisters went to the sea witch and asked for her help. And the sea witch gave her a dagger and told her that she would have to go and kill the prince and sprinkle his blood on her legs in order to become a mermaid again. If not, she would turn into sea foam. And she couldn't do it, and she turned into sea foam at the end of the movie. At the end of Cinderella, the original, um, Cinderella's stepsisters used to make her pick seeds and stuff out of hot embers, and these birds on her mother's grave would help her. And at the very end of that story, the birds fly out and peck the sisters and stepmother's eyes out. They also cut off chunks of their feet to fit into the shoes, into the slipper. Gruesome stuff. Gruesome stuff. I remember, I think Sunshine was about my son's age, and I got him the original Hans Christian Andersen Tales books, and he got through the first book, and he was just like, he was like, nah, he was like, they beheaded somebody. I was like, well, yeah. It's like, those were the times. You gotta think back on that kind of stuff too, guys. Everybody's like, the world is so terrible, it's so violent right now, blah, 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 blah. Back in the day, your weekend entertainment was to go and watch somebody being tortured or hung or both or drawn and quartered. I mean, humans are the least violent I think we've ever been in human history right now. Mixed energy today. Give you that much. I don't know. I guess it depends. Like, people are always like, oh, too much Disney programs, you had to do that, and too much of this type of TV programs, you had to do that, and too much of that. Well, what if you watch it all? Then do you get a balance? What if you don't just watch the movie? You follow the whole storyline. You like the idea of designing up the arc of the character. Like, you know what it is? A lot of people who think that there's some grand conspiracy theory behind every movie trying to program the population has never written a damn thing in their lives. They have never written one creative thing in their entire lives. They have no idea how the story writing process goes. They don't know what a plot is. They don't know what character development is. They don't know what the climax is. They don't know. I just don't know, man. Because no story is complete without all of the aspects of what makes a great story. A great story's got fucked up parts in it that make you cry. Great stories have a character that has some kind of grand redemption. Or this is a villain that's more villainous than it needs to be for no reason why and is never explained. Good stories are like that. You know. And I enjoy a good story. I told you guys I don't belong in this time. Like I enjoy classical Shakespeare. It's actually why I never got help for special ed in school, is because I was terrible at reading comprehension when it came to like social studies. When it came to English, came to reading stories, I was fine. And when it came to creative writing, I was fine. When it came to math, I was fine. So I never actually qualified for any special needs help in school. I mean, I was diagnosed with ADD and not ADHD, just ADD, but yeah, I don't know. But I'm reading a lot on this stuff about how that they talk about how some star seeds and stuff like that, their lives are so rough compared to their counterparts, and I don't know. Like my life was rough, but it wasn't rough. Like I recognize that I grew up in a first world country. I've always had things to access like running water and stuff. So have I really been that bad off? I don't know. I lived without power in really cold places before. All right. So the very bottom energy that we're starting out with the regular cards is we are heavy into masculine energy right now. All right. We've got the King of Swords here, trying to resolve conflict, trying to move on from these type of things, trying to get back in King of Pentacle mode, trying to get these two energies balanced out, air and earth. We're trying to balance those out right now within the masculine side of things. So it's like, there's every element, and then there's the male and feminine aspects of every element. Right now, got a bunch of ladies trying to balance out the, your words and your earth energy. And you're trying to find a good team. You're trying to find that ride or die team that can actually help you, if not help you, believe in you enough so that you can accomplish your dreams. Because this is also a co-created reality. So the more people you have that believe in you, the better chance you have of actually accomplishing your dreams. At the Prince of Wands here and the Queen of Wands. So there's kind of this immature passion going on, but at the same time, it's understood that this passion is not so much the immature aspects of love, but a very down-to-earth motherly connection that you're trying to nurture. Five of Wands, we're getting over the conflicts with it, but final judgments have yet to be made. There's still a lot of disappointment about how things have gone down in the past. And people are still having a problem releasing, not only not getting what they wanted, but just bickering with the universe in general. There's a lot of people who just thought certain things should have worked out certain ways, and when it didn't, the universe has a way of confirming things for you all the time, and it does generally, for most people, it'll confirm a lot of the negative aspects instead. In this case, I'm feeling that a lot of people sense that, whatever, certain situations, certain people that you believed in, certain whatevers that you thought had it so perfect, didn't actually have it so perfect, and it kind of shook your foundations when it comes to the idea of love connections. A lot of things have been happening, and now when I first started following that guy from Golden Rays, that was one of his things that he had said on one of the first videos. He said all this twin flame stuff was going to start fizzling out over the next 2 years. Now, did he mean that energy was disappearing? No. But just like was I listening to the raw materials, just like the aliens in that, or the raw collective explains in that, is we brought you information and you messed it up. we brought you this enlightening information of universal collectiveness and stuff like that. And they're like, according to that book, these people brought it like 1,100 years ago. They brought it to Egypt and South America, and it immediately got corrupted. That's kind of what's happened in the twin flame community. They brought it in. It was immediately construed into the original soulmate paradigm of you have one person that is your one and only, and that's all you're ever going to have in this life. And if you don't make it with that person, you're never going to make it with anybody. And if you don't accomplish that, you reincarnate unless you come back. Who decided to put all that on there? And a lot of you people out there that are into the whole twin flame thing, you are more into owning another person than you are a healthy relationship. And it's scary. And I'm kind of glad it's fizzling apart. I never really liked the idea of the concept, just because as soon as somebody brought that whole thing to my attention, and then they asked for it in a tarot reading. They're like, do you do twin flame readings? And I was like, no. So I started looking into what this whole twin flame was. This was several years ago when I first started reading online. And yeah, the whole concept of it skeeves me out. Never for 1 second doubt that you have free will. If you're watching these other tarot readers, oh my God, this one woman yesterday that I kind of used to like watching her, but her timelines have gotten so askew now. She went from saying that the karmic is pregnant, Last night she pops on there, or yesterday when I noticed it, she said she had been on at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's like, oh, I just got to download in the shower. Oh, he's knocked up 2 women at the same time. Now it's up to you if you want to stay with this masculine or if you want to keep. What sick, twisted programming is that lady pumping to a couple thousand people that watch her pretty regularly? It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. It's leading so many people on the idea of twin flames down a very toxic, nasty path. And a lot of people are recognizing this. That's going to start fizzling out, which is fine. Fine. End of an old cycle, beginning of a new. It's going to be times of celebrations here as long as we can mind our words. This is do not cause chaos just to cause chaos, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. But the chances of that lady ever even figuring out that I said this about her is next to nil. Watch your words. I just said Mercury is going into shadow phase at the end of this week. We got a planet starting to go direct here. Big shifts are coming, guys. All right, so definitely mind your bitchy tongue. You might want to let him have control of your tongue for a little bit, You might need to be more clear thinking and intellectual instead of quick thinking. You've already have a talent for being perceptive, so you don't need that advice. But definitely, this is a time of biting your tongue. And I love that this message of biting your tongue comes in when this comes in. And now I've seen women online do this too. This comes in, and then you immediately post on Facebook a picture of your boyfriend saying, this is my twin flame, blah, 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 blah. And 99% of the time, whenever I see a female do that, they break up with that dude within like 2 weeks because you're going to freak people the fuck out. You need to calm down. I don't care how strong this connection is. If you act like a lunatic, they will run away. Just putting that out there for you guys. You get messages of love in, and then you immediately think that it's the fantasy end all be all, and it's like, no. Oh, let me get them. What this comes with? New beginnings. You know what new beginnings come with? new trials, new tribulations, new getting to know the person before you declare that you are going to be with them the rest of your life. That would be like a guy asking you to marry him on his first date. It's a little crazy. And you know what? I grew up on Disney movies, and I wasn't so sucked into that program that I can't watch The Little Mermaid now when she screams, "But I love him, Daddy." Now my mind goes, "But you're 16. Shut up, kid." Same thing. I'm on Elsa's side when she shows up with Han saying she's going to get married. They just met that night. No, you're crazy. Time to come back into the sun. Time to come back into some knowledge. I know we keep pulling the sun cards, but the sun's actually in its waning energy, but this is a powerful time of year. This is like the waning moon for 6 months. It's 6 months of learning to let go of certain things, learning to let go of certain toxic traits. I'm excited. People around here have been changing pretty quick for around me, so, and it's taken a lot of work to reach these points. So we got Naked Before the Stars, and we got Alone in the World. A lot of, and look, they're exact mirror opposites when it comes to the moon phases too, right? So this is Alone in the World. This is feeling very lonely. Naked Before the Stars is learning that solitary but never alone. Don't be, and you know what's funny? She's alone in the world, but she's actually naked. She's naked before the stars, and she's actually dressed. You know, it's all perception, guys. It's learning to be alone without becoming a recluse. It's learning to be alone, learning to feel connected to the universe. That's Naked Before the Stars. Learning to feel connected to the universe while you're alone. 555. But you don't want to get so comfortable with being alone that now you're uncomfortable whenever somebody's around. And I think that's a big point that a lot of people have just hit. The world has been shut down for so long, and you guys have been doing so much inner work that now you're so comfortable being alone, you don't know if you can maintain that frequency if someone comes along. And that Madonna song came in my head, like a fairy tale. So, yes, that is the other side of the dark night of the soul, especially if you have done it alone. When you emerge on the other side, you do feel very childlike. You still have like the weird insecurities of, are they going to like me if I talk about the crazy stuff I like? When you first meet somebody else who has a similar type of belief system to you, you get all those giddy little butterflies and all that little fun stuff goes on too. I mean, yeah, and it's a way of recognizing that without allowing your adult programmed ego to turn it into fear. It's a difference, that giddy, nervous, adrenaline-y energy of doing something fun with new people versus allowing the fear of, I'm going to feel stupid if I do this. So don't allow yourself to be stopped by that. All right, our magic cards today are fairy magic again. Sorry, guys, I do have a big thing about fairies. Respectfully work with the fairies and elements to achieve your goals. As I told you guys, you can leave trinkets in little holes and trees out in the woods. Milk and honey they love. Sweet cakes they love. Candy, things of that nature. Really gets them going. You are a dragonfly and you bring light to the world. So you've had to learn to glow in your own darkness, but now it's time to go and shine amongst the rest of the stars. Just remember, this week, a lot of things are going to get said. A lot of like expectations, I think, are going to get set. Minor promises, things of that nature are going to happen. And then next week, Mercury will go into shadow phase. And a lot of expectations won't be met. Some communication's going to shut down. So just be mindful what promises you make today. All right? What you say you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Just be mindful. And just keep looking for those doorways of opportunity, but don't put a whole bunch of stock on he said, she said stuff right now, okay? Because communication is going to start breaking down over the next couple of weeks. All right. I love y'all. Blessed be all those who walk these paths with me. Y'all have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.